It always begins at night, doesn't it?
Ah, you right?
City Airport, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I forgot to mention, I'm in Frankfurt.
A beautiful day in Frankfurt.
We're there!
Yes.
Aloha! How you doing, my man?
Oh wow. What?
Yeah, a bit of Star Wars nerd.
Oh, she's so beautiful. I'll be back.
Okay.
That's where I spend the days.
You are looking at Nexus 3. Am I the first one to see this?
Yeah.
Oh man, look at that! Oh, no way.
That's storage.
Oh, you're not even using this.
At the moment not. I got them when I need them and put it in front of me.
I see a lot of consequences back there. What is
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
wow.
Versi.
Oh, Versi. I've never seen one of these intact before. All right, so we have set up a few lights and microphones and stuff. Manuel,
Hey.
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no
Number
problem.
one.
Yeah.
Number two. So you are the man, or for sure half of it,
half man.
behind Nexus.
Yeah.
How in the world did you think of that?
Yeah, it all started back in 2003 or something like this. If I remember correctly, I contacted Michael, who lived next to me, and I already did some stuff for Vanguard. And I contacted him to make a sample player for the sample packs. And so it started to develop bigger and bigger, and in the end we got Nexus as it is. It started with one layer, then we have 4 layers in the end, and meanwhile we have 16 layers in Nexus 2 and 64 oscillators, and it got continuously updates and
Right.
grew to the thing it is today.
Because you are mainly a sound designer.
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
you?
mainly the sound designer, and the concept of the whole synth we did together, and think, let's add a filter here and let's add something like this here, and it needs arpeggiators in each layer. Yeah, so it turns out in the end to the product it is today, and we continuously made expansion packs for Nexus until now. I guess meanwhile there are 100 of expansions. It's insane.
I think you
yeah.
gave me at least 100 of them so far. So Nexus has been around for how long now? Like
2005, 2003. I guess Michael knows it better. Over 10 years, of course.
Oh, wow.
Far over 10 years.
right. And it's basically been up to the Nexus 2, it always been based on samples and you could tweak them.
In the beginning, it was a pure sample player.
Right.
But then we added real oscillators too, which are under the hood is a real synthesizer with pulse width modulation, with LFOs, with different filters, envelopes, and a modulation matrix. And the samples can be part of this.
Right.
An oscillator can be either a sample player or a real oscillator.
So how is Nexus 3 new.
I spoke already about the vast amount of expansions we have, and so we just needed a bigger browser.
Right.
And a better system of sorting it, and a better way of finding it, of tagging it, of searching for the preset you need. As you can see, the expansions are listed on the left column. I didn't have all installed, but even this are 80,000 presets at the moment. So the tab all lists all your presets here in the middle. All the arpeggios you have installed, all the atmospheres, all the basses, and you see how many in the field here. And yeah, 2,400 lead sounds. I turn on my favorite folder here. So all these presets are marked by me as favorites. And yeah, let's start with some kind of dubstep. I think it's from the EDM Voices. Yeah, of course.
Oh, no. Hold on a second. Can I have a go?
Yeah, of course. One finger. You can, I guess, this is a preset. You can even press chords here.
Oh, got it.
And what is cool in Nexus in Nexus 3? People often complained about not being able to have full access to all those elements which are going on in the background here. So now you have access to all of the arpeggiators.
Oh, I see.
And can mute, solo them, or turn them off, or change them, so you have access in the whole sequence.
Oh. So you can modify them, you can build your own?
Yeah, or turn them off and play your own stuff, or eliminate the drums, or isolate the drums.
So for example, can I play like the individual layers?
Yeah, you can go to the feature matrix here, and for example, you want to have layer 4 here, and then...
And not the others.
Not the others.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And this is playing a arpeggiator. As you can see, this one here. We can turn this off. And now we have the bass label. Yeah, okay. Still the split in the upper.
So, for example, this is a sample, right?
This is a sample, yeah. And you can see the signal path here from this is layer 2. And it goes through the up, and then you can change the volume or the panning here.
Oh, wow.
And it's transpose. Yeah, so let's just load something different.
Yeah.
We have also loop kits, and each key is a different loop. Let me decrease the tempo a bit. And now I can create my own loop by pressing different keys together. The higher I go, the higher the instruments will be. These are the low bass instruments here. This is quite cool because you can...
Trailer music,
you can add and stack until the loop gets like this.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, of course. Velocity sensitive. The same.
Wow.
The same with a real drum kit. If you want to try.
Oh, like
It's
a drum. Oh,
loop
right,
soup.
right.
Here in the upper is the hi-hat stuff. Yeah, of course, there are tons of playable presets too. The vocoder beat, for example, is nice. Let me increase the tempo a bit.
Oof.
All the same here. What do we also have now? Are previews. If you click on a preset, you hear it in advance how the preset will sound. Yeah.
This is too much fun.
We also have some harder stuff here. Let me decrease the tempo a bit, yeah. This one, for example, is from the Tropical House 2, which is from my friend Andy Hinz, for example.
Wow.
And we have some choirs.
Yeah. Some synths.
Synths, the category synths or lead.
Yeah.
And turn off the favorite here, so you see all synths installed.
Okay. All right, well, listen, I've got a plan. Firstly, I guess that by the time we release this video, Nexus 3 is gonna be available, correct?
Yes.
And it's very likely that people can like click in the link in the description and get their copy like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you know what, actually? I would like to know more about how this works under the hood.
Then you have to visit Michael, the programmer.
Where does he live?
Vancouver, Canada.
I need a flight to Vancouver, Canada.
Going straight.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you, bye. Good morning, Canada. And now I'm going to meet Michael. Yo, good morning. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Good to see you. Wow, Michael, this is great. Can you tell me what we're gonna see today?
Yeah, we're gonna look into Nexus, how it works internally. I show you some new features and some tricks.
I'm such a geek, you know that. I can't wait to see that. We're here. All right. What? No way.
We can make him talk.
You know what they used to make that sound? ARP 2500. And this is the office? Whoa. Nice. Hello. Okay, more toys. Okay. Yes. Amazing. Now where the magic happens, right? Oh. This is where you make Nexus.
Yes.
Man, I want to know everything about this. How you make it, how you program it. I want to see it.
Sure.
All right. Yay. I'm so excited, man. So you know that I've been visiting Manuel and he showed me a lot of stuff that's new in Nexus 3. But today with you, because you are the man who actually does the coding and everything,
Oh
right?
yeah, I do everything to do with technology and within Nexus.
This is gonna get so geeky. I love it. So listen, why don't you show me a little bit of the deeper features of Nexus 3?
Okay.
Is that something that we can do?
Oh yeah, I can show you everything you want to see.
So that looks really awesome. What am I looking at?
Well, this is right now the effect page where you can have the internal effects of Nexus routed from the oscillators and the individual layers into the effect rack. And the effects are processed from the left to the right. And we only show the effects that are actually turned on. So there's no point, if the filter is not used here, it's turned off, then why show it here? It's just a waste of screen space, right?
That's right.
And what I want to show you is we do now real-time visualization of the actual effect parameters. So if a distortion, for example, has a low gain or a high gain, you can actually see it in real time as you edit,
Right.
how the visualization is changing. And that is also true while it's playing and you use modulation. For example, I routed here some preset parameters to the mod wheel. So now when I change the mod wheel, you can see here at the bottom, you can see how the visualization is now changing.
Wow.
And the-
Okay, cool. Can I hear it?
Oh yeah, sure.
Gotcha. It's like pulse with modulation kind of also.
Yeah,
sort
it
of that.
sounds like that because the distortion is applied to a different frequency range, and so it sounds to you like a filter almost. But yeah, this works very well for polyphonic sounds. If I turn off the arpeggiator real quick here for both layers, I have to also turn off the portamento. Can do that here. Bloop, bloop. Turn the
Wow.
arpeggiator there.
So you can go pretty deep, huh?
Oh yeah, way more in depth than Nexus 2 used to be.
Right.
Right now you can edit the arpeggio patterns for each individual layer. In this preset there are only 2 layers, so that's all you can see. But we can later load a preset where you have like 16 layers and you can edit the pattern of each individual one.
All right.
And here let's re-enable them. So here I disabled them in here.
And then you have this modulation.
Yep.
This is so cool. So did you program this from scratch? Wow.
I had to, unfortunately. There's no easy way to do all these things.
Do you do your own graphics as well?
Yes, this is real-time graphics. This is not like designed in some program. This is actually coded graphics. So I wrote a formula that basically says, hey, draw this sine wave, but now depending on the distortion parameters that you have internally in the preset, it distorts the sine wave as well in real time while you see it.
Listen,
This
can
is
I
where
can I ask you something? I mean, if you cannot do it, I understand. But is there any way you can show me the code? I mean, I've got computers, but I wouldn't know where to start. How do you do it? Where do you do it?
Okay, so I have a program that is similar to what Cubase or Fruity Loops is for the musician. This program is made for programmers to create programs. I can show you here the visualization. So we have an effect page. Here, effects, visualizations, and now I can show you the distortion visualizer. So this is now the source code for the visualization of the distortion effect.
Oh, wow.
So here we get some parameters, the frequency, the gain, and the drive, and we normalize them so their values are between 0 and 1. And then we have here some formulas, some cheap math. It's actually not that complicated, as you can see. This is
It's not complicated for you, I'm sure.
yeah, but this is basically the code that generates the waveform we just saw.
And let me go even deeper into it. So right now we're looking at a piece of code that basically displays that waveform, and that's on the effect side. But when it comes to the actual sound engine, I take it that there are a few ways that you have to generate sounds. May that be samples, may that be wavetables and things like that. Can you take me into the engine and explain to me how Nexus works?
I can show you basically something from our synth engine here. Here's our DSP code. It generates basically a band limited signal, no matter what you do with it. So you can generate sawtooths, triangles, squares, pulse modulated squares. Here we have the actual code where we have here is a few tables of information. This is the data to create a triangle. This is for sawtooth. This is for square, white noise, blue noise.
How does this change if you're talking about like samples? Because
sample works differently. Samples, you read data from memory. Here's a sample player. And then you basically pitch shift it by simply skipping values or not reading them at the normal speed, but reading them a little bit faster. And that makes it pitched higher. The faster you read, the higher pitched it becomes. So there's lots of logic here depending on the play mode. We can play back in reverse, we can play forward, we can play alternate where it plays it forward and then backward, then forward and then backward. It can actually read between the samples. Let's say you want to pitch down, now you move slower through the file. But if you move too slow, you stand on one point too long and the sample repeats. It's like a sample and hold.
Right. And
then it would sound cheap and gritty. So what you do is you basically calculate what would the value be between the two samples.
Like it averages it.
Yes, but it doesn't do just averages because that is called linear interpolation and it doesn't sound very good. It sounds cheap. You get aliasing. We do a spline interpolation. So we basically take 4 samples and figure out what the curve would be between these samples, and we play that back.
How CPU intensive a virtual synthesizer is depends on how well this code is written.
How well this is optimized. Yeah, this is basically now for a sample playback, we think this is as good as it gets.
Right.
This won't get much faster.
Man, let's do a little jam to close the video. But before we close the video, I want to ask you 2 final questions.
Okay.
First final question, if that makes sense. Final, and then we have a final question. What is the new feature in Nexus 3 that you are the most proud of, or that was the most complicated to successfully deliver?
It's maybe surprising to people, but the librarian, basically the standard preset management was more complicated than people think because there's so many different ways to do things, so many different things that can go wrong that people don't think about it. You know, when you know this saying like, describe to me how you make tea, right? People then usually say, oh yeah, I take the cup and put the hot water in and then the tea bag or something. And I'm like, so where did the cup come from? Didn't you take it out of the cupboard first? Didn't you boil the water first? Ooh. Didn't you take the tea bag out of the cupboard first?
It's like infinite regression.
So there's so much more detail that people usually forget. And so there's so many things in the browser that when you just look at it, you think, yeah, well, you show the names and when you click on one, you load it. What's the big deal, right? But there's so much going on. So first, it counts for all directories how many files are in there. Then for each category that you select here, so when I click on a different folder now, it shows me what type of presets are in there, also with a count. And then it shows them here sorted by name. But some people might say, yeah, but you skipped the category now to sort by name, but now it looks all jumbled. So you can then switch, say, okay, show them sorted by the extension. So now you see all the ARPs first, then all the bass, then all the FX and so forth, right? I prefer to sort by name, but hey, that's your thing, right? You can switch it back and forth. And then a little thing that people don't know, or that is more complicated, you can actually create bookmarks. So let's say, I really like this sound here and I want to use it in a future project, right? You can right click and say create a new bookmark and I call my project Phoenix or something. So, and now you're like, okay, that sound here, I really liked it. Here from dance to this. Yeah, I like it. You can just drag it over there now.
Right.
And now this is a bookmark. It's like a shortcut. It's not, the preset is not saved or anything. It's just a shortcut that shows you for your project. Then you can say, hey, this pad is good.
This sounds amazing.
And I like this guitar sound. So now you have pre-selected these presets. And then when you start making music, you don't need to search for stuff. You already pre-selected a handful of presets that you like. And now, see, the filter now has to react to only the thing you clicked on. So now it filters by these things, right? These bookmarks, it's, as I said, it's just a shortcut, nothing more, right? So it's a file that gets generated that remembers the shortcuts. But what now, you go to a different computer, you don't know your shortcuts anymore. Well, we do cloud syncing. So we upload the shortcuts that you just made. Every time you change something about your shortcuts, we immediately upload it to the cloud.
Wow.
And then notify the other computers that a new file is there, which then immediately downloads the file and shows it in the browser.
Wow.
So it's basically like a mini Dropbox.
By the way, how many libraries are there now for Nexus?
I think we have 140 by now.
You will need a good management system.
Yes, exactly. So we build a search and you can now just type in whatever you like and it filters in real time. So I can type in bass and now I get only presets that have the word bass in them. Or I can type in dream and then it shows me only dream. And you can even use placeholders where you do DR and then AB or something. So now it has to have first DR and then anything. It doesn't matter how many characters or how little. And then it has to have an A at the end or a B, or you can search for aardvark. And that, you know, allows you to search pretty quick. And the search is only applied to the selection here. So when I do dance and now I type, it only searches within the dance. Or you can hold Control and select multiple folders. And now it searches for these characters only within these folders. Or how about only within the FX sounds of these folders? I can now search for TR. But when I go to all, suddenly it's FX. And now it's suddenly different ones that show up. So the browser is way more involved.
And that took you a long time to develop?
Yes, because you start out with a simple version. So just show the three things and then you can load it. And then you get ideas. What else can I do with it? Oh yeah, let's put in, for example, the bookmarks, right? Then you say, hey, I need a way. Maybe I don't need it for this project right now, but in general, I like certain presets. So then you can just mark them here by clicking on the heart and just basically saying, I like these. So now you can filter and say, hey, show me all the ones that I like.
Right.
Right? And you can also say, show me only the ones I don't like. So the invert of that.
Oh, wow.
And we have, you may have noticed up here, there are tags. We haven't assigned all of them yet, but these are the ones we have so far for the factory content. And I can now say, show me all presets that have the dark tag, or show me all the factory presets that have the active tag.
Okay.
So if you set multiple, now it has to have dark and active. Or not dark. Dark cannot be set under no circumstances. Or show me the sounds that are active and dirty.
Well,
and
of course, now
tagging,
you have that.
The tagging is not complete. Yeah. But here, here we have wide presets, right? And wide simply means they have a wide stereo field.
Right.
And let's say when you measure, like 0 means it's completely mono and 100 means it's completely stereo. There's no difference, there's 100% difference between left and
They're
right.
just sides.
They're just sides. Then the wide is basically, if it's around like halfway point, a little bit more than half, like 70% or something wide, then it's considered a wide preset. This is when you want to search for pad that is nice and wide or something, right? And then we have spiky, which is basically means it has a very hard attack with a quick decay behind it. So it sounds kind of plucky.
Nice.
And active are usually the ones that are, where you can hear lots of volume changes.
Oh, cool.
So now like there's lots of movement going on there, yeah. And then we have dark and bright, which is basically sounds that have high frequencies in them, and then dark are the.
Got it. Wow.
Also a feature people underestimated, but we have preview. So when you click on a preset or just select it, it plays a short preview clip.
And that's a new feature in Nexus 3.
That's also a new feature in Nexus 3.
I had a last question.
Yeah, the final.
So the last question, and I have to put a bit of context into it. There are very few virtual synthesizers that are as successful as Nexus. All my boys back at the studio, they've always been raving about it. I've seen them use a lot. Now I have it. So it's like, I'm super happy. But because you're a programmer, I see you are really into it. If there would be just one piece of advice for sound designers, for programmers, for people who want to make a difference in this world of ours, of music making, what would you say is your best advice, the one that gave you the most success in doing this?
What seems to work for us is really putting quality out, not quantity, not quick and dirty, not oh yeah, it needs to be done by tomorrow, I don't care, but rather delay. And for example, for Nexus 3, the original release date was like half a year ago or something.
Right.
But we thought it was not ready. We rather wanted to put more polish on it. We rather wanted to have that extra feature in there that we had the idea about but didn't know how to do it. And then we thought, instead of rushing it now and getting it out, we rather want quality. So when people use it, they're instantaneously happy with it and don't have these headaches of, oh, this didn't work, and when I click here it crashes, and when I do this it doesn't work. So to me personally, quality is paramount. It has to look great, feel great, sound great, and if you just do it like a half-assed job, then you'd better not do it at all.
Let's make some music now.
Okay.
Favorite preset. Oh god.
Yeah, then I have to install more content.
Ooh.
You want me to download some more stuff?
Let's. Come on. All right.
So this is our new download tool that will be released very soon.
Nice.
Probably before this video is out.
Yeah.
Because it's compatible with Nexus 2 and Nexus 3. And it basically combines, Nexus 2 right now, I must admit the import process of getting new sounds into it is a little bit convoluted because it was done years and years ago. And in the meantime, the world has moved on. We have all, on phones, we have app stores where you click a button and it's done. And so we try to do the same now. So we have here this thing, I can just click on these. And so this speeds up the entire process to just, a few minutes, if that much.
All right, let's go.
So let's look for a couple of presets we can maybe put in our Project Phoenix.
Okay, this is gonna be our Phoenix track.
So here, I like the sit stuff, some leads maybe, that sounds a little bit...
Ooh! Have you got one of those sounds that is like fake chords with the same note going?
An arpeggio.
An arpeggio. You got that arpeggio?
Well, I should have an arpeggio somewhere here.
Yeah. Oh yeah!
That is really cool.
That's so Commodore 64.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fun.
Let's finish it.
Oh, sorry, I missed the last one.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, one last one. One last one.
One last one.
One
Okay,
last one.
Let's pick a cool one here. I like this. This is... See what the mod wheel does. Back up. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Reload.
Yeah! Guys, if you haven't checked out yet Nexus, there's a link in the description. Man, I cannot tell you how thankful I am that you invited me
You're
here.
welcome.
I love your house, I love your office, I love your studio. And
It was fun.
it was
really
fun, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's have lunch.
Let's have lunch. About time. Guys, I hope you're inspired. I hope you subscribe to this channel by now. If you haven't, do it now. It's about time. Dr. X. By the way, here at reFX, we don't have no robots. Are you a robot?
No.
Are you a robot?
No.
Definitely not robots.